Yeah, there we go.
Hey Ray, I didn't master in Sanskrit, so I'm sorry.
Can I have your attention? Everybody grab a seat, get something to eat. We're going to start the meeting. We're almost on time. Almost. My fault. We're a few minutes late. But we're going to go past 1 o'clock. So we'll adjust. Can you hear me okay?
You might want to get closer.
Can you hear me? Better? Anyway, we're going to run a few minutes late because we're starting late. So be prepared to stay a little after 1:30. It's going to be a great lineup. And with that in mind, the first thing I'll do is do a few shout outs. And Mike, do you want to do the pledge? Yeah, pledge. If you'd all stand for the pledge. Use your mic.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mike. He also, we'll be introducing him in a little bit. He is running for Senate 15, and we better keep that seat. But we'll go into that more. Anyway, the next thing is some announcements and shout outs. Where'd Gianna go? Where'd Gianna go? Oh, we have, I hope I don't miss anybody. We'll introduce the speakers. It's going to be in 3 segments. First, it'll be the school board and Reno and the city elections, and then the county. Then we'll go into the Senate and Assembly. Then we'll go into the national Nevada for Congress and for the Senate. And we'll introduce people at that time. First, this is Brooke Westlake. She's going to be one of the discussion leaders. We're calling them discussion leaders. By the way, Bill, are we on? Yes. All right, we do tape all this. It'll be, go to redmove.org. It's live streaming. Redmove.org. Redmove.org. Gianna Jacks, stand up. She's the new chairman. She's the new chairman for the Washoe Library, which God only knows they need help. And she's very shy and quiet. Who, me? Also, before I forget, I wanted to give a shout out. Karen Conrad. Karen, stand up. Karen's our treasurer.
Karen. Yay, Karen.
Jacqueline Marcel is helping her. Jackie? Jennifer Smith is also helping. Stand up. Bill Conrad is our co-founder, and I guess you remember he ran for Senate.
Yay! Yay, Bill!
I'll be introducing Paul Anderson and his wife. Paul, stand up. Where's your wife? What, she doesn't like you? Sit over here. I don't blame her.
Oh, so spicy.
That's how they stay married, right?
Huh?
That's how they stay married. That's how they stay married.
Also, Nick Lewis is representing the Nevada Senate Republicans. Where's Nick? Where'd he go? John Staub is also with him. He's gimping around. I didn't bring my cane, but I want to borrow his. And Mike Ginsburg's running. Stand up for 15. Denise Myers is running for Reno City Council. Tell them you're on time. We haven't really started.
No, yeah, you guys are good.
Paul, introduce your wife, because she's a hell of a lot prettier than you are.
That's my beautiful wife, Donna Anderson.
I'm sure I've left somebody off. Oh, yeah. Terry, I never say her name right, running in 24. We've got to get her elected. Thank you.
Go ahead, say it.
Go ahead. You never tell the husband. Am I mi- Oh, and Deb Huggins is the president of the Republican Women of Reno. Joni Hammond is vice chairman or vice president?
Is Joni Vice? Yes. Of RWR. Joni Hammond, Vice Chair.
That's what I said. All right, with that in mind, we're going to get the actual show if I missed anybody, except for one thing. When we get to the Q&A, which is going to probably start at 1 to 1:15, I want you to think about how we're going to unite. Because if we don't unite, we're screwed, to put it simply. And one other thing, there's hats and goodies back there. Jackie Hager, be glad to take your money.
Marina, you get a cowboy hat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll introduce him.
All right, with that in mind, we added one person for a brief discussion about elections. Nicholas St. John.
We're going to let Nicholas St. John from the Washoe Patriots give us just a brief data capture on votes, and then I will start with Tom and Jane.
All right, thank you.
Somebody,
Somebody. Okay, so I've been collecting the data, downloading it from the Secretary of State's database for 8 or 9 days now. Some very strange things have shown up. One is that according to the records from the Secretary of State's database, in Clark County, 98.63% of all eligible voters voted. In Washoe County, it was just a mere 87.36%. So I just presented this to the county commissioners. This is from the Secretary of State's database, and I downloaded, it's about 10 million records that I plow through every morning to associate it with the voter ID from their eligible voter list. So I've been doing data since 1978, so I think I'm probably doing it, I'm hoping, right. Regardless of how you look at it, everyone who voted, is anybody in this room voted by machine on election day? Okay, according to the Secretary of State's data from Washoe County, you did not vote. 0 voters voted on election day by machine according to the data from the Secretary of State. Same thing with provisional voting records. They've also added a new column called BR, which is typically ballot request, and nobody seems to know what that is. I met with the assistant ROV. He has promised he's going to look into this. We will see. Because of this report, today's canvass should be put on hold, and they should not do anything until they get it straight between Washoe County and whether the state can actually process their data properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. And yeah, I wrote, they are doing the curing this morning at 10 a.m. I did send out some emails to each commissioner, and I asked them to not approve the votes because of 1,266 ballots that were not matching signatures and whatnot. And other people brought this up at the county commission meeting on Tuesday, that they should not be curing and certifying anything. Thank you, everybody. I'm so grateful that we are back here today for Redmove for June. I would like to thank Ray Rocha and Bill Conrad for letting me co-host part of their events, because for the last 5 years, I have had my own event company. Now is the time for unity. Now is the time to set up and help in any way you can, and now is the time for all of us to vote. Today, I request the call to action is for people to vote. We, the people, took a tremendous hit because of people not voting during our June primary. We will continue to have an uphill battle as there are some critical seats we lost this month. We should all be devastated by these losses, as our school board seats, they're very prolific. The loss that we are taking in January with the school board seats is going to be detrimental. Even more disturbing is that we still have the 1,266 ballots outstanding that need to be cured. I get asked all the time why I'm so passionate about everything I do, and I've been calling Nevada home for 36 years. I enjoyed my childhood, but suffered tremendously from a downgraded education from Washoe County School District. However, thankfully, with my dyslexia and determination, I did not let the lack of our public education deter me from pursuing higher education. I am a proud graduate from UNR with 3 degrees. I do have a master's and a bachelor's in criminal justice. I also currently sit on the Northern Nevada Bar Board, as well as the Disciplinary Fee Dispute Committee, and then the Elderly Care Board. And I've been on those boards for 5 years, and I absolutely love serving my community. My children were born here, and my oldest will start high school in August. My little guy will start kindergarten in the fall. I have a connection to my community, and I hope more of you are inspired today to be connected with our community. Over a year ago, I founded Our Parental Rights. Our goal has been to protect parental rights, but also to expose the indoctrination of our children while the public schools use our taxpayer funds. Our future of our children matter. So stay tuned as we are set to release our first book on July 4th called Lipstick on Pigs, the Transdemic. I hope you all like that title. November 4th November is 4 months away. Some of these races that we will discuss today have been watched on a national level, including our Washoe County Commission. I am pleased to have Tom and Jan Tabor, Conversations from the Capitol, joining me today as we discuss the following 4 races. We'll begin with the Washoe County School Board, then we'll lean into the City of Reno, City of Sparks, and then our group will conclude with Washoe County, and then we'll just keep going along. As Ray Rocha mentioned, we'll talk about the Senate and Congress. But that's going to be my portion that we're going to do today. So we had 4 seats that were up for the school board, 4, and we've lost every single one of them. They're all gone. In district, and we're going to talk about this, the only one that will go to the November ballot is G, but I will tell you right now, one's a communist, one's a socialist. It's very left-leaning. We have got to get a game plan in place for 2 years from now when Adam Mayberry's seat's up, when Colleen Westlake's seat is up, and I'm forgetting the other one that's up. But we have got to get a game plan in place. This is very, very, very critical. The other thing that we can continue to do is to show up and make public comment. On Tuesday will be another school board meeting. We have Pastor John from Turning Point and all their camera crew. We are coming in hot. We are going to be reading them the explicit pornography books that they have, that they refuse to take out of our schools, that are in front of my oldest 14-year-old boy every day. And we also have Karen England, who is also going to be reading books. Feel free to join us on Tuesday, but now we're going to talk about these races that we lost. Starting with District A. So we had 19 candidates, and I do believe that each one of them gave it an all good college try as much as we could. I believe a lot of us banded together. We tried helping as many people as we could, but we have to do better. So for Washoe County, we had District A, we had 3 candidates in this race. This was Jeff Church's seat. The seat is now gone. Christine Hall got 54.73% of the votes, which means she will take that seat in January. If you guys don't know who Hall is, she's a friend of Beth Smith, former teacher, so how classic that she's just going to shoo in one of her little besties. Would you guys like to add anything on District A?
First of all, as far as Jeff Church goes, this is a devastating loss. And the fact that it's gone is beyond discussion. I really don't see what we could say about it. We didn't have the people come, is what happened. We didn't have the people do the down ballots that they should have done, which is everybody voted for every office. And I'm looking at some statistics that Tom found versus what's here. And the way it looks is one is at 47, so that would have put it under 54. So what? This is raw data. Okay. Scratch that, guys. I'm going to turn this over to Tom for a second because now I don't have anything in front of me.
One of the things that we have done over the years, Jane and I have been involved in the politics in Nevada for about 47 years, so we have a little bit of background, and we've been sort of pushing one thing or another, and it seems like in the total for the state, we seem to lose more situations than we win because Republicans don't show up to vote. That's one of our greatest problems. The other is we don't have a lot of Republicans involved in the school board. We have, as Republicans, given away the school board to people who want to be there. And the people who want to be there are the people that want to help themselves in the education department, either moving up or getting more money or whatever, but because the union for the teachers is basically a Democrat, and please, I know it's supposed to be referred to as Democratic, but there's nothing democratic about the Democrat group. They control what they do. So we've given up there. The other, and I know we're talking about education, but the other place that we have been negligent is in the city councils, and particularly in the legal side of things with selecting judges. This has been a continual problem. And quite frankly, my belief is that the Washoe County Republican Party that somewhat pretends to be interested in finding people to be in elections, they themselves sort of neglect these areas that are critical to us. City council, county commission, school board, judge seats and so forth. We just have to, as Ray says, get together and start doing something. When all of you that are here are involved with politics in one way or the other, talk to me sometime about what kind of bench we have for candidates and how much do we spend time-wise or money-wise to educate candidates in how to run their campaigns. A lot of these people could be winners if they really understood politics and how to run campaigns. And we're treated with respect because they step forward to do something that 99.8% of the people never want to do. So this whole thing is disastrous for us because everybody that's going to win these elections for school board are going to push DEI, going to push all the rest of that stuff. And you as parents or grandparents are going to be told, you don't matter. We are the ones that have the final decision. We don't care what you say. So we've got 2 more years and we'll have some more of the school board back up. We need candidates and we need people who are going to help them out, and we need the party that's going to help them with education and financing. It's got to be. We can't continue the way we're going.
I would just like to, we're going to do, do you want me to take
Okay.
it now, or do you want to wait at the end? Question at the end? She has a question. Do you want me to take it now or do you want to do it at the end?
If it's brief.
Okay.
Great.
Come to the microphone.
I have a question. We need candidates, and we had all, what'd you say, 19 candidates for, what was that?
19.
So why, as an organization, GOP, why don't we, when we get all these candidates, why don't we get them all in one room? Is it about their power? They want to have that position, or do they, if they got together and discussed who's winnable, they all have the same goals. So why don't we, instead of eliminating each other in the primaries, where all those people, those votes could have went to the one we endorse or encourage. I mean, you can't stop anybody from running, but okay.
Collectively, the 19 people apart from the incumbents did try to come together as much as possible. In fact, the last meeting that we had here, we had a bunch of the candidates who came and they were all basically competition with each other, and they were all here to support each other. But we can do better. We can absolutely do better. And so the numbers that broke down for District A are as follows. This is one of the things I wanted to touch on. So not only did we witness 19 candidates go toe-to-toe for these outcomes, as we discuss the outcomes, I'm going to be providing the top 2 candidates in each race. Please note that these people that won these races, it's a 4-year term. It does not have to be served consecutively, and it's considered nonpartisan. But at the end of the day, I think we all are very aware that a D behind somebody's name and an R behind somebody's name matters, especially when it comes to the school board.
If you have a list of candidates, the 19 all say NP, nonpartisan, because it's a nonpartisan. Unless the Republican Party helps you by identifying how these people have registered. They may have registered nonpartisan, but either as a D or an R or an L or something like that, you have no idea of how they think. And I would venture to say everybody here is involved with politics, but I'm also venture to say not everybody here has researched every candidate on this list. There, you got one, and which is a problem that's coming up in question 3 in November, because it's going to be ranked choice voting. And if you haven't looked up ranked choice voting, look it up, because it's going to actually screw up us even more. Now, with these things in the school board is nonpartisan, but Tony was in a partisan race, right? And you had 12 or 13 people. I don't think that group got together to decide which were the top 2 or 3 people had a chance to win. So we had 13 Republicans in it. And this is one of the problems, as was repeated, that people have a right to decide if they want to run. What people have to do is kind of take a look at that little rheostat that says ego and tune it from way up to at least level to decide whether or not their contribution is going to be worthwhile, or it's better for their contribution to be backing people such as Tony and Bill and others who were running for the seat. That's been a problem constantly. So when kind lady asked the question is not that we have 19 people running for school board, it's that we don't know who the devil they are. Go ahead.
So I am aware that the GOP is going to meet on Monday, and they are going to try to figure out a better way moving forward, how to support and basically kind of have like a cutoff time of candidates that they will support moving forward so that they can also get their backup support, but let me finish these three right here, and then we're going to move on to city council. So District D, which was Beth Smith's race, there was 5 candidates in this race. We are stuck with her for another 4 freaking years. Excuse.
What do you really think?
I'll tell you what I really think. I can't stand that woman. I will tell you right now, my children have suffered tremendously, and we have got to somehow, some way, we have to pray about this, but we have got to get her off the board. If this is the last seat she has in politics and she's never wins another one moving forward, then we've done our job. Beth Smith. District
She has
C.
a horrible voice.
On District C for the school board, we had 4 candidates between incumbent Alex Woodley and Bev Steinem. Alex Woodley automatically won. He got 52% of the vote, so he's in it. The very last seat that I mentioned earlier is G. We had 7 candidates, and that is now going to go on the November ballot, but pretty much at this point, it's between the incumbent, which is Diane Nicolette, and Perry Rosenstein. Perry Rosenstein, you can look him up, very communistic. Diane Nicolette, very socialistic. So we're stuck. Moving forward to Reno City Council. We had 4 seats up as well for this election site, and we had 24 candidates go toe-to-toe. As we discuss the outcomes, I'll be providing the counted for the top 2 candidates in each district race. These seats, again, are 4-year terms. They do not have to be served consecutively. Please note, this seat, again, is supposed to be a nonpartisan, but in reality, we know if there's a D behind their name, it matters, and if there's an R behind their name, it matters. In Ward 1, we had 8 candidates. Kathleen Taylor, the incumbent, will go to the November ballot against Frank Perez. In Ward 3, we had 5 candidates. Miguel Martinez, here's the numbers. We can win this. Denise is here today. We can win this seat. Let me tell you right now. This seat can be winnable. Miguel Martinez got 49% of the votes. So he was very close to that 50+1. But let me tell you what the numbers say. 1,716 people. Hold on 1 second. Denise, the percent comes in at 21%, is 746 votes. In November, we can get her in. She can win this seat if we show up and vote for her. Is it not applicable? Apply. Okay. And also the school board. Okay. So you are going toe-to-toe with an individual who was appointed. And so he did not win his seat. And this is what's been happening with the school board too. If you look at a lot of those positions, minus Jeff Church and Colleen Westlake, who currently sit on the board, all those other seats were appointed in. And now the reason why they're getting elected, because people do not do their research. They do not understand. They do not look up. They go, oh, I recognize the name. Oh, it's an incumbent. When you have incumbent behind your name, that matters. People just automatically go, oh, I guess they're a good person. Boop, I'm going to vote for them, which is not the case. So we need to really support Denise Myers. I know I'm going to make this quick announcement for her. Her district is heavily Hispanic. She is actively seeking anybody who has someone who can translate, who can walk neighborhoods. I know they have a little bit of funding set aside. Please reach out to her. Please help her campaign. In Ward 5, we had 4 candidates. This is Devin Reese. Do we want Devin Reese in that seat anymore? Promotion of drag queen story hour, promotion of just everything. He's got a lot of ego too. I can't watch this man. He's got way too much ego. He's going to go toe-to-toe with Brian Cassidy in this race. So Brian did make it through. In City Council Ward 6, we had 7 candidates. Brandy Anderson came in at the top against Tom Heck. Now, if you guys don't know who Brandy Anderson is, she ran about a decade ago. She was really gunning to get on city council. And she did have some good backers in her pocket, but she just wasn't making the cut. She's got great signage. We know we have candidates that need more signage. Her marketing is really done well. So we've got to also get on top of our marketing. But it's going to be Brandy Anderson and Tom Heck that go toe-to-toe. Do you guys want to add anything about the city of Reno before we move on to the city of Sparks? Nope? Okay. City of Sparks, we had 3 seats that were up for election. Of this, we had 10 candidates that went toe-to-toe, and here are the outcomes. Ward 1, we had 3 candidates for this race. Donald Abbott got 64.78%. He's going to go, so Denise, did you say that? Yeah, okay, so he automatically got it. So he's done. It's a done deal. In Ward 3, however, it is not, because it's going to be against Brad Finch and Mr. Paul Anderson. Yay for Paul. Would you like to make a comment, Paul?
And by the way, this is personal, but I have some things on Brad Finch. He's a real duty fruit. Don't vote for him. I didn't want it on the record.
You all have heard already the common theme, unity. And that's really what we need from you all. I'm the only Republican in this race running against a strong Democrat, and he's ahead of me. All I can say is I need your support. Whether you want to help me get the word out about who I am and what I'm standing for, as well as if you want to help organize volunteers. This pretty much round, it was my wife and I doing most all of the walking, and we talked to a lot of people. A lot of people said, oh, I know you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. We'll be voting for you. The bottom line is most of those didn't show up to actually vote. So we just need to drum up the support that coming in this next round, I think we're going to have a lot of voters. We need to get them to vote to the bottom of the ballot. And that's where these local races are going to be won or lost. So your support would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
I'm going to stop real fast. I'm going to be editing this.
Mike, we can't hear.
I'm going to edit this out. I just want to say something. Some advice. Say your name and your website. You have to go upstairs and say your name and website. Say it over and over. Because you want to hear it over the area.
Your website.
So I'll edit what I
Okay.
just said out.
I'm Paul Anderson, currently the Sparks City Council member for Ward 3 of Sparks, and I'm running for re-election. My website is paulanderson4sparks.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Next in Reno, the Sparks City Council, Ward 5, we have Chris Darr, who got 46% of the votes, and he will go up against Joe Rodriguez. You guys know who Joe Rodriguez is, right? That's right. This is what they often do. They use the school board to jump to their next position. He still has 2 more years. He was appointed in, so again, did not win an election. And now he wants to run for Sparks City Council. No, thank you. He needs to go. So we need to retain Chris, who is Republican conservative in there. And so far his numbers are showing that he's doing quite well, but we're going to have to show up and do better. Lastly, the last two seats that I'm going to wrap up on, and then I want them to share anything else before we move to the next one, is Washoe County Commission. So we had 2 seats that were up, 11 candidates. The first ward, Ward 1, Alexa Hill, will go toe-to-toe with Marcia Burke-Bigler. Thank God. Let's get Marcia in there, please. Marcia. That's what's happening. Marcia, your numbers are really good. I know we can continue to keep climbing, but do you want to come up briefly and say your name and your website, and then we'll wrap up with Ward 4.
Thank you very much. I'm Marcia Burke-Bigler. See, even I can't spell it. I pronounce it. I do that all the time. I'm Marcia Burke-Bigler. My husband used to yell at me when I screwed it up. And I'm sorry I'm late. I have been over at Canvass the Vote, which was an experience because the Democrats kept getting up and talking about those right-wing nutcases. So I got into a fight with one of them for you. I told him. Win? Yes, of course. Okay. Because I said, the lady tried to interrupt me, and I said, I'm not talking to you. Shut up. I said, you got up, gentlemen, you got up and you said that the county commissioners take an oath to vote against right-wing nutcases. What about you left-wing nutcases? And he turned around and walked away, so I did too. Anyway, my website is marciaforwashoe.com, and
Number 4 or 4?
number 4. marciaforwashoe.com. And we can win this seat. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard walking, big time. One of the areas that we need to focus on is Verdi and Mogul, because that's a new area in this district. She never ran there. They don't know her any more than they know me. So I've got a big team that we're putting together. We need walkers. We need anybody who has signage locations out there, and we need money. She has in her account $160,000. I have right now roughly 10. So I'm really working on fundraising, and she has completely shut down all the developers who, by the way, when I was commissioner before, supported me. But I don't want to go into why they aren't supporting me. Let's just say that I believe that that there are some developers who are making a buck off the county, and that's my taxpayer dollars, your taxpayer dollars, and it doesn't belong to them.
What do you really think?
Sorry, I'm a little riled up after being at the commission, but yeah, we really can win the seat, so we need to move forward and do it. So thank you very much.
Marcia,
One of the things that everybody in this room has to remember, politics is a game of numbers. If we don't have more Republicans in the county commission so that the Republicans have the majority of the vote, we lose. We have one Republican that was appointed by the governor, and I think he made a very bad mistake, who came out on top in the numbers is in Ward 4, which you will be talking about shortly. But you need one more true Republican on that committee, and we can start doing things the correct way.
that is the truth, and that leads us to Ward 4, which we had 7 candidates in this race. Claire Andriola will go toe-to-toe with Mark Lawson. She's coming in as an incumbent, even though she was appointed. No?
No, it's Republican. George should be going against independent.
Oh, shoot.
Couldn't hear you. I can't turn the mic on.
Who's she going against? Marcy?
Go ahead.
Who's the?
So there's actually, I think 2 independents. I usually have a loud enough voice. I don't need these, but there are actually but you need it. There are 2 independents who've not been certified yet. Marcy Cooper Smith is the #1 choice, I think, for everybody, for our side, since we didn't get a real Republican elected. Marcy Cooper Smith, but right now, That we just had Mike Clark ask that question at the voter, and they have not approved the number of signatures because they're blaming it on the Secretary of State. So they're saying the Secretary of State hasn't got it to them, but they will get it right away. So she's not on the ballot yet. Right now, no one's on the ballot.
So no one is on that ballot seat yet. Lastly, if you were at the county commission meeting this last week on Tuesday, we did get a win. Al Rogers was not reappointed. We had 3 of the commissioners that were open to the idea that 80 people had applied before. Other people want to serve their community, and now is the time. So with that, I'm going to pass my baton over to Tom and Jan. They want to add anything, and then we're going to keep moving forward with Dr. Titus and Rich DeLong, and thank you.
What if what? No, I think we've covered the basics here. Numbers is the prime area for politics. People have to get out and vote and quit stopping at the state legislature. Go all the way to the bottom of the damn ballot. I'm sorry, but if you have the statistics and you can pick them up from the registrar of voters, you'll see a big drop off in the number of people who voted. We have to change that. Robin, you were...
Okay, now go ahead and introduce the second session, which is the Assembly and Senate.
I just did that. And now we're going to go over Assembly and Senate, and we are turning this over to Dr. Titus and, correct? Is Rich doing
Right,
this?
she's
Is he
Senate
doing-
Minority Leader.
The Senate Minority Leader. Thank you. And we're really happy that you were able to join us today, too.
Well, thanks all of you. It's been interesting sitting here listening to what has happened in wonderful Northern Nevada. I thank you for inviting me and my fellow legislator, Rich DeLong. So I just want to acknowledge a few people in this room, those that ran for office and weren't successful in the primary. Mr. Conrad, Mr. Grady, and I know that you guys worked hard and you ran because you love your country and your state. And the very fact that even though you didn't win your primaries, you're still showing up to be engaged is critical to this process. So I'm just going to give a round of applause for you guys. I also want to acknowledge the Tabors. I've been in 6 different legislative processes now, and way back when I was in the Assembly, this gentleman to my right showed up in my office and wrote me a check for my campaign. He has been supportive of all Nevada for a long time, and still being here at the table is key to this process. So I know you've had some disappointed losses here in Washoe County, but my job as the Senate Minority Leader, and hopefully we will be, I don't see a pathway for us to be in the majority, but if we get a vote turnout, there is that possibility. My role has been, and my mantra has been, keeping us out of the super minority. I will go over what that means to those of you who don't know, quick civics lesson here in Nevada, but first I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I represent Senate District 17 in the state of Nevada. There are 21 Senate districts. Each Senate district umbrellas 2 assembly districts, so there's 42 assembly folks, and there are 21 senators. My district is all of Douglas County, all of Lyon County, all of Churchill County, all of Mineral County, all of Esmeralda County, and part of Nye, specifically Tonopah. So I represent from South Lake Tahoe all the way down to Tonopah, kind of that western slope. But more than that, I feel I represent, I tell people I represent you whether you voted for me or not, because I represent Nevadans. You here in Washoe County, you, I believe, hold the key to keeping us out of the super minority. What the super minority means, again, a quick civics lesson. In Nevada, we have a 2/3 rule. So in order to pass any new fees or increase a fee or a new tax, you have to have 2/3 of the vote in both houses. In order to override a governor's veto, you have to have 2/3 of the vote in both houses. Having said that, our governor vetoed 75 bills this last session, of which 45 of them he vetoed before the end of session. The Senate was the only house that was out of the superminority, and we had one seat. So all of those bills that he vetoed are dead. However, the rest of those bills he vetoed after the end of session. All those bills will be reintroduced opening day of session. If we don't stay out of the superminority, they're going to be passed, and the governor's vetoes will be overridden. Why do you hold the key? You hold the key here. We're sitting in Senate District 15. Your butts are in Senate District 15. During the process of redistricting in 2020 and 2020, when they redistrict, they purposely drew the lines to make Senate District 15 Bill Raggio's seat, which used to be a 5+, 4+ R district. It is now a 5.2 Democrat district. They signaled out Washoe County as a priority to put us in the superminority. You folks in Washoe County can't let that happen. So I'm putting the charge on you to help us hold this seat. I'm committed all in to saving Senate District 15. We have 4 other seats that we're working on in the South. They have plenty of money, plenty of people working there to try to pick up one of those seats and save the other 2. But for me, as a rural Nevadan, there were so many times in the state legislative process that it was the rural folks and the Washoe County folks that got bad legislation blocked. If Washoe County turns entirely D, we'll only have the rural people to stand up to them. Washoe, don't let that happen. This is in your hands. So today I have brought a team, and we have stayed focused. We were very fortunate in the primary election. We have stayed focused in our lane, staying in a superminority. We vetted candidates, unlike what happened to you in your races at school board where you had 12. And I believe it's in America, everybody's free to run for a race and not be afraid of ending up in jail if you run against somebody. That's wonderful about being in America. But the key is when you get the vote out or you get the message out and you meet with these candidates. There were other candidates that wanted to run, and you sit down and you talk to them. We were focused in the primaries. We had some primary races, but we kept it clean and about the issue. Mike Ginsburg, unknown first-time candidate in a 3-way primary, got 52% of the vote. That's how hard he worked. He needs to get that many in the general election. The turnout in District 15, Senate District 15, you had 35% Republican turnout, 11,266 voters. 8,298 voters, 31% of the voters of the R's turned out. The D's had, in a very tough primary, they had passionate, they really showed up. They had 11,000 people turn out in that vote. We, with some help and cross all of the parties, if 100% vote out of the Republicans show up and stay down ticket, get these Republicans down ballot elected, Mike will represent Washoe County and Northern Nevada and Old Nevada in the legislative process. As somebody whose family's been here since the 1870s, it makes me sick when I see what's happened here in Washoe County. Mike's family has been here, maybe not as long as mine, but for several generations. He actually understands what this process is and the love and passion for Nevada. So we have other races that we have supported. So I don't want to just focus on Mike, although he's the one that I want everybody today in this room that lives in Senate District 15 to take home a Mike Ginsburg sign. You talk about unity, that is going to be the key. Just as Tony and Bill showed up today. And Sharon was a great person. I voted for Sharon in the past. I've sent her money in the past. The fact is, with the district, we felt Mike's the candidate to get across the finish line. He can get that cross ballot votes. And that's going to be key because they have a 5.2% advantage. And we'll turn it over to Mike in just a second, but I want to tell you, because we are very focused in the Senate, my job is to stay out of super minorities. So not only do we have Senate District 15, which is, we're sitting in it, but we have Senate District 5, which is Carrie Bucks. She's the incumbent exit representative. They came after her hard. They're coming after her hard to unseat her. We need to keep Senate District 5 going. We have a good chance in Senate District 6, which is Nicole Canizaro's, the majority leader seat, coming after her. Senate District 11, which is Dallas Harris's seat. We feel there's a pathway to victory there and then turning that seat over. Senate District 11 is Lori Rogich who's running that race. Lori is a wonderful attorney from Southern Nevada that we feel can upset that Democrat. In 15, we have Mike. And then in 18, we have John Steinbuck, and we're trying to hold on to that. It's a 2.2 R district. They're coming after that. But I'm telling you, if you want, you talk about all your vote doesn't count. If you can get your neighbors to vote down ballot, you get your neighbors who live in Senate District 15 to show up, it is unbelievable the change and the difference it's going to make by holding on to this seat that the Dems don't think we can. So I'm asking all of you to take home a Mike Ginsburg sign today if you live in Senate District 15, or even if you live on the edge. He's got the best signage out there. I have to give him credit for his signs. Wait till you see his signs. And and if it's okay with you folks, Mike is here. And I brought a whole team today because it's that important to me. So I have my Chief of Staff, John Staub, who you mentioned earlier, even though he's gimpy. I have Nick Lewis, who's directly involved in Mike's campaign. And then I have Ryan Qualls, who's sitting right behind me, that is going to be involved in Mike's campaign. And I'm putting the bucks up to hire some of these folks. Mike is raising funds, but I am dedicated to Senate District 15. And so thank you for asking me to speak today. But the Senate, we were fortunate in the primary. We are staying focused, and we're not going to go in the super minority.
Before you introduce Mike.
Sorry, I'm a math person. I was an engineer major. I'm a medical doctor, but math was my forte. And so numbers are important because it is about the numbers. It is about showing up. It is about a percent. And even though they may be ahead of us in the percentage, we turn out that vote and you get your neighbors to vote. We can beat them. We can beat them at their own game. And that's the key. So in the South, Carrie Buck, right now, it's a 0.7% Republican district. Carrie had a tremendous 77% vote in the primary. She's looking stellar. The governor's behind her. She's raising funds. She's working hard. There's a lot of prayers that go into this, but God gives us the energy to do this also. So we can't just sit back. So it's 0.7 R district. Senate District 6, Nicole Canizaro's, Jill Douglas is there. She had a tremendous primary too, 72% about turnout. For her, it's a 6+ Democrat district. Those who don't know this, my first election process was in 2014 where we had the red wave. And even in that time, nobody won if there was a margin of difference of 10%. So it is hard to roll and flip a seat if there's an over 10% difference of registration between R and D. So when you want to focus your funds and you want to really make sure you have narrowed it down to winnable races, We chose to focus on the races that were less than 10% margin. So right now, again, as I mentioned, Senate District 6, which we think we can pick up at 6.2 Ds. Senate District 11, which the governor's all in, and Lori Rogich over Dallas Harris. It's a 5.8 D. It's a winnable race. Mike's race, Mike Ginsburg, Senate District 15, it's 5.2 D. Again, it's a winnable race. And then in the Senate District 18, John Steinbach in the South, it's a 2.8. But the key here is 4 of those are Southern districts. I'm putting the ownership on Washoe County to save Senate District 15 because, thank you, because so much of the fight, you have no idea, is north-south issues. If you want Washoe County to be represented, whether you're a D, an R, an independent, so this is what you have to tell your neighbors. Why your neighbors, regardless of their registration, have to vote for Mike. If Washoe County wants to have a say still in this legislative process and not let Clark County run over the rules in Washoe, you've got to get Mike back in there, or Mike in there and hold this seat. So with that, anything else, any other questions?
We're going to have Mike come up and introduce himself and also give your website, and then we're going to pass the baton to Rich.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Ginsburg, running for Senate District 15. The website is Ginsburg, Ginsburg, number 4, nv.com. So basically, I'm just going to do this real quick. Is you got to know, I have to be able to tell you the why. Why am I running for Senate District 15? As Dr. Titus mentioned, my family came to Senate District 15 in 1914. So 110 years we've been in this district. I've been with Sierra Pacific or NV Energy for the last 39 years. I'm guessing the Democrats might use that against me since they must think that I raise the rates and I cause wildfires, but I don't. So I've been married to my wife 34 years. I have 3 daughters. One works in EV technologies. The middle one is a parole and probation officer in Las Vegas. And my youngest is just completing her first year of residency at Nevada. So she's a doctor. I have a son-in-law that's a Reno fireman. And so basically the why is I've donated my time for many, many years. So I'm the chairman of the City of Reno Parks and Rec Commission, Neighborhood Advisory Boards, Collin Ranch Homeowners Association. I've helped with Washoe County and the NIA running swim meets for the last 18 years at high school level. And my youngest daughter pointed out that she graduated 11 years ago and I'm still doing it. So the biggest feather in my cap will be when on August 23rd, when we open up the new Moana pool. I've been working on that for the last 16 years. So I've given back to the community and I basically built my resume and said, how can I help the Republican Party? And with a lot of backing from Dr. Titus, John Staub, Nick Lewis, that whole group, a bunch of senators from, a lot of people getting behind me, this has been a very fun ride. And I'm looking forward to the journey and I'm looking forward to winning this because I compete in triathlons and I don't want to lose and I will not lose and I will fight. So as long as people are behind me, I'll fight all day. So I appreciate your support and bring money.
I just want to say the marketing is genius. I love your signs. I love hearing, I think we all have skin in the game, and that's what we have to have is skin in the game. So I really appreciate that. 2 quick announcements.
Let me just add real quick.
Yes.
So the sign came from my, actually John Staub pointed out that there was a license plate he saw. Then it came into my mind that we should do the Nevada plate. And then my sister is the one that actually designed it for me. So that's great.
Brilliant. Brilliant. 2 things I want to announce real quick. PK O'Neill would be here, but they're out of town. And then Roy, who ran for Ward 6, who is not making it to November, but I want you to come up and you want to say anything? You did really good. And
yeah,
it was tough.
I would say one thing as to what, you've been doing to help with the race in Senate District 15. If you look at my race and you look at what the Democrats did there, They had their person. They got behind her, and they put her in a position that she claimed 43% of the vote with 3 other Democrats and an independent running. So, we're going to have to start making some choices going into these primaries. As Republicans, everybody is free to run, but I think the party's got to make some decisions as far as who the candidates they're going to choose are, so that they get the backing, they get the support, so that you get through to the general. But the election for the general starts with the primary. If you have the support in the primary, they're going to see your signs. You're going to go to the right places. You're going to be talking to the right people. And all of that leads to November. So we need to be a lot more directed.
Thank you. Now we're going to pass this over to Rich DeLong, who is also Assembly Minority Whip. And your district is, remembering in my mind, 26? Okay, good. I got it right. Because when I type all this stuff out, so I'm going to pass the baton to you, and then we will pass it to Bill and Tony Grady to talk about U.S. Senate. But we're going to hand it off to you now.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, and appreciate being here and being able to speak to you all. I'm going to echo a lot of what Senator Titus had to say, and the way we were able to, in the Assembly, get through the primary it shows how what everyone here is talking about, focusing on candidates and candidates you think can win. And for the Assembly, that was really critical, because in the Assembly, the Republicans are currently 14 seats. We are 1 seat short of holding off the supermajority. We have to win 1 more seat this cycle to be out of the superminority, so we can, in the Assembly, stop vetoes and stop taxes. So of our 14 seats, 12 of them are very strongly held Republican seats, and we're not worried about those incumbents winning. We have 2 seats that one person ran for Senate, he didn't win, so that's an open seat, but that's one we need to hold. And then we have another seat down south that we need to hold. In addition, we focused on 6 Democrat seats that we think we can flip. And all of them are less than 5 points positive for the Democrats. But we think at 5 points in the Assembly, we think we can flip that. The key one up north here is Assembly District 25, which sits within Senate District 15. And that's Deanna Sandy is running for that seat. Our butts are in her Assembly District right now. And for the same reasons that Dr. Titus brought up with regards to holding that Senate seat so that Washoe County is represented, winning back this seat this cycle will again be able to represent Washoe County well in the Assembly. Again, so that we can address that north-south issue, because it really does exist.
What if you get 24 too?
24.
Well, 24 is,
Carrie.
yeah, Carrie, yes. And we hope that win. That's a tough seat. It's going to be a tough seat. But what we focused on, we worked with the governor on identifying the seats that are the most likely ones we can flip, that we can focus our money on. There are, of those 6 seats, there are 5 down in Clark County and 1 up here. The one up here I've already mentioned, that's Assembly District 25. Down in Clark County, we're working hard with the governor on Assembly District 21, which is April Arndt. She's going against Marzola, who is the incumbent. Assembly District 29, Dawson Owens is going against Joe Dahlia, that's an open seat. And then Rebecca Sawyer is running in 35 against Hadi Nadim, again, an open seat. Assembly District 35 down in Clark County, David Brogg is running against Shay Bacchus. She is the incumbent. And in 41, Rafael Arroyo is running against Sandra Howdigi, and she is also the incumbent. So we think we have the chance to win all of those. Some of are much more doable than others, but those are all the ones we and the governor are focusing on making sure we win. If we win all of them, we are at, I think, 19 or 20 seats, close to going 50, almost back to par, which would be 21. So,
Rich,
yes.
what's the difference? I'm over here. What's the difference in 25 between Dems and Republicans? The Ds are 1.9. So in their gerrymandering.
So the current data as of last week, I believe, is 2.3, but it's a very winnable seat.
2.3. So it's a
very winnable seat.
It went from a very Republican district, got gerrymandered into.
Right. It's the same thing that happened in 15. They
Yeah.
shoved them in.
Well,
They shoved into my district.
because 27 is pretty much Democrat.
Right.
And that's the reason I was asking, because Robin was talking about 15.
Yeah.
So 25 is a very viable district.
Yes, it is.
What's 24 like?
Hold on. Hold on.
Look, Rich,
And I wanted to say something. On 24, we talked her into running, and she's doing a good job. It's winnable if you get the damn vote out. Vote for Terry. And there's one other in Sparks in 30, which we had no Republican that ran. There is an independent that's probably more conservative than most Republicans, Morgan Covette. She's a very sharp lady, Morgan Covette. We need to support her. 30 is basically eastern part of Sparks. And we need that because we have Nathia Anderson in there. And she's a little bit like Bernie, on very liberal. I want her butt out of there. And I'm in 30.
I don't blame you.
I know. But it's winnable if you get to the independents.
Rich, I got a question for you. I don't have the statistical information, but could you turn the question I have is that the ratio between Democrats and Republicans will hold through the state of Nevada is almost parity, right? It's the independents that make the difference, right? It's about one-third.
Yeah, I'll speak to that because that's true in just about every district. There are a few rural ones where that's not the case, but the vote in the general is actually won with the independents. You have to have your turnout of your base. That is a given.
That's true all the way up to the president.
Yep, it is. But the independents are the ones that swing. And so if it's a 3-point Democrat plus, you need to win like 55% of the independents that vote. That's the way the numbers work, as you spoke, Tom. The general is about making sure you get those conservative-leaning independents to vote for you rather than not voting or voting for a Democrat or a Libertarian.
And the question that comes up is that because for the majority of Nevada, it's moderately conservative, it's not a liberal state, even though at the highest offices, for some reason, they get the few thousand votes over to win an election. And we just had that 2 years ago. But if you have a general election when the president is on the ballot, that makes a big difference. There's tailwinds that go with the presidency. If the president wins the state by 5 points, that takes the down ballots up 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, you could actually, could we have another 2014? That's possible. I think in a presidential year, you have a higher likelihood of that. More Republicans coming out, more conservative independents voting for the Republican and going down ballot, such that we could win a lot more seats than we're hoping.
So there are assembly seats and Senate seats that doesn't look possible, but could be actually contestable, right?
One mic at a time.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, I want to, just some good news on a positive note. Breaking news, Nevada State Court judge has dropped all charges against the 6 fake electors. And the Attorney General, Aaron Ford, says the judge got it wrong and he vows to appeal the ruling, but so be it. I just want to comment about the nonpartisan races though, real quick. Again, remember that, yes, it's about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. The Democrats hold about a 50,000 voter edge in registration than ours right now. But remember, the increase in nonpartisans have become, not as the news would have us believe, that they're frustrated with the R's or the D's, but because of the automatic voter registration. So what has happened is people are being registered that never had any intention of voting. They're not engaged in the process and they don't show up. So again, we have to, in my mind, yes, you have to address the nonpartisans and that's who you reach out. But remember, Adam Laxalt lost by 8,000 votes. In Lyon County alone, we had 10,000 Republicans that didn't vote. So the reality is we have to get a Republican base to show up and vote. So again, you have to tell your neighbors. I can't emphasize it enough. But the good news is the judge threw out that.
Robin, one of the things that I've jumped on for a long time is that we run statewide roughly 20% people, registered people voting in the primary. If you only have 20% of the people voting in the primary, the person that votes in the primary has 5 votes, themselves and 4 other people that didn't vote. And what really ticks me off is when we get through with the primary and somebody says, where the hell did you get that candidate? And I asked them, did you vote in the primary? And they said, no, we got that candidate because you didn't vote in the damn primary. So we're back to what, numbers again?
And before we, so we do want to make a quick announcement. We want to introduce somebody that didn't get introduced earlier, and that is Nicole Harris, who used to be the president of RWR. And we wanted to say hello to Nicole Harris. And we're going to, and Matt Bueller is also here, who ran for the Board of Education. Thank you, Matt. We're going to pass this last section over to Rick, who's going to be talking with Tony and Bill about the U.S. Senate and kind of what unfolded. And lastly, the county commission 3-2 vote just came in that they are approving the primary election results. No, it's not we're not shocked, but I mean, we were trying not to. But Rick, go ahead with your questions for Bill and Tony.
Here, they can sit here. Tony? No, that's all right. They can sit.
You guys, let's sit here. Bill, you're going to sit here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to talk about the congressional and senatorial seats that just came about here in our primary. And we're going to do question and answers to Tony and Bill in regards to their how they performed in the actual election and what they felt and what they saw was good and what could be better performed. So the first question I'm going to ask both Bill and Tony is, how do you feel about your election and what you did?
I'll go first on this. First of all, thanks for everybody to come to a Redmove event. I want to give you a little background, maybe talk about 2 minutes each, background first. So I was up at the lake over a year ago, and I met with a billionaire for the first time. And he's saying, Bill, we'd love to support you. We called you up here. And there's 4 or 5 millionaires right next door. And they, excuse me. Anyway, there's 4 or 5 millionaires next door. And they said, well, and they didn't know Sam Brown's name. And they said, we've been talking with Washington, and we'd love to support you. You got a great background, 30 months Afghanistan brigade, the third in charge of a brigade of 200,000 people, or 2,000 people, engineering brigade. And they said, and this one guy really wanted to support me. And they said, and they didn't know Sam Brown's name. I won't say what they called him, but they called him a nickname. But they said, and then they said, and it's interesting politics, they said, well, we don't really expect the senator to win here, but we think he can raise a ton of money and really help win in other states so we can get the majority. Now, I'm a big believer that the first vote, no matter who you are, is so important as Republicans. So I'm going to vote for any Republican because that first vote for leadership controls everything, and we need to control the Senate. So I'm 100% behind Sam Brown. I texted him at the night at 8:30 from down in Las Vegas. I supported him. I know he got the text because I sent it to his West Point number, which we have. It's a Texas number, and gave us my full support. I just wanted to say that. And then secondly, I just want to say, I decided to stay on, and I also decided to continue on with my, people stop talking, please, in the audience. So as we work these, sorry to be so tough because we're sort of doing the production here too, and we're trying to treat people. I'm going to edit this. I'll edit that out, which I can do, but we're live streaming. So
Go ahead, Bill.
I just can't when people are talking. So on mics and stuff. So anyway, I decided to run a couple things. I had the GI Bill. I work 35 hours a week on my academics. I'm doing a cinematography, a Bachelor of Science, which is actually making movies and theater. So that's why some of the stuff we're doing here, we've done this for about 10, 12 years. But I just want to finish up. One thing about my background is I want people to know my background. I was a Green Beret. I did 38 months in Afghanistan. I was second in charge of 2,000 people. Sam knows this. His unit, his brigade commander and I know each other fairly well. He's 1 year behind me grade-wise, but I was behind him in grade. And we handed off that project, the civil affairs project, Jackie Dam, where he got injured. I went to his driver's service. I know about the operation. It was really sad. My heart really goes out to him. I know what he went through. And thank God that he survived because he wasn't supposed to survive. So I know a lot about the operation. And it's kind of strange. We're 8,000 miles away. We live 3 blocks from each other now. But I just want to mention that. I want to mention that people got to know me. I really enjoyed being down in Las Vegas. Went down there 3 times. Had a wonderful crew down there. You learn so much. Now, I'm going to argue that I think in a primary, you should go out there with your best, or your candidates, and sort it out. I say the Senate shouldn't have endorsed. They should have let us battle it out. I came very close at the end because I had to do some deep thoughts of what I wanted to do because I've won 5 elections, unfortunately, in California before the war. But I almost endorsed Tony because I know Tony's background, and it's identical to mine in our stances. He's Air Force and went to Air Force Academy, so big difference. But he had his son go to West Point, so he made up for that. But anyway, Tony and I looked at our positions. I can't see any difference. They're identical. We have different, we delivered differently. He worked his ass off. I knew how tough it was to probably beat Steve Daines and Mitch McConnell. And, but they decided they wanted to do that. Steve Daines and Mitch McConnell decided to pick all the candidates in each of the states. I'm opposed to that personally. I think they should let us run, sort it out, and see who won. Tony, I think you might have pulled it out if Steve Daines hadn't gone because I looked at the numbers. So anyway, with that, I'll pass to Tony. And you know what? Let's all get behind the Republicans now and win.
Yeah, Tony, let's get just a quick bio and then tell me what you felt was positive about your campaign and what you thought you could have done better.
Well, thank you all for having me here. I just kind of showed up to support things. I didn't know I was going to be on the hot seat. Just for a little background so that everybody knows, when I decided to get into politics, I targeted Jackie Rosen So over 4 years ago, I planned to run. When I got involved in politics, because as a military man, I have, how should I say, healthy dislike for politics. But because of what I saw in Nevada, I was compelled to get involved in politics after having been the air boss for the air races and different things like that, having tutored people, having been a mentor for UNR for business. I realized that I had a skill set that I could use. While I was encouraged to run for lieutenant governor to get my name out there. So I'd say in hindsight, I wish I had done as poorly for lieutenant governor as I did for Senate, and then I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So for lieutenant governor, I was very surprised at how well I did. And running's hard. And I really got on my knees before I decided to get into the Senate race after having seen what it takes to do it. But I entered the race for one reason. I was the best qualified candidate to beat Jackie Rosen. And throughout my race, thank you. And throughout my race, nobody refuted that. The Las Vegas Independent said it. The Republican Club said it. The NRSC said it. All of you, not all of you, but. So I was warned not to get into the race because I couldn't raise the money. I do not think that money should determine who our candidate is. The governor sent a messenger to me to tell me that he was not going to get involved in the race. And we saw that that didn't hold true. So the reality is that once you make a decision and you go, and all of you know that I'm a test pilot, so I don't scare. So once I decided to go, I was committed. And when it became apparent that it was very difficult to raise the money, I'll tell you what kept me going. I have about 5 elderly ladies on Social Security that each gave me $100 to run, and they couldn't afford it. I will tell you that there were 4 billionaires that I came in contact with during this race, and none of them directly donated to my campaign. So I got my head handed to me because I didn't have enough money. But when we talk about figuring out who the best is, I think we need to look at each other and decide what the criteria is. Now, I'll just let you know that Sam Brown called me right at the beginning of this, and I've got his back. You can assure that. And I will do everything to help him get elected. He's got a tough hill to climb. And we're going to do our best, but I'm not sure if in this race, as Republicans, we put our best foot forward. Dr. Titus and Rich DeLong can tell you that I was at the legislature in between my races. I learned a lot about Nevada politics. Everybody and their brother wanted to tell me what I should be running for. The problem is they didn't take a look at my skill set. When I talked to Paul Enos about running, I said, Paul, I can talk treaties, I can talk military force structure, I can talk about the budget because I've done those things. And oh, by the way, I've led a major acquisition program, $24 billion. I said, I don't know the history of Elko, so I wouldn't be that good in the assembly. And this is what Paul said. I can tell you everything you need to know about Elko because I grew up there. So I would say that the thing that we need to do as Republicans is that one, we need to understand the nature of who we are. We are independent thinkers. But I do think it's important that we come together and we have a dialogue about where we're going, because it's important. We win the election in the primary, not in the general. So I would say the things that went well with my election, with being in the primary, is that I had a lot of support from grassroots people that wanted me to run all over the state. That was important. I think what didn't go well is those Republican structures that we have around us didn't stick to their word. And that's an important thing. So that's how I would answer that question.
I guess the next question I have is, because both of you now are going to endorse, I assume you're going to endorse Sam Brown for the U.S. Senate against Jackie Rosen. I think that's a given. But what we have to do, and I would like to hear what your comments are, and especially Tony talked about grassroots. We're going to win this election, and I think we could win it substantially if we put the money, the people, and the resources to all of our candidates who are running for our congressional seats and our U.S. Senate seat. If the people in this room here and all of their friends and associates do the same thing, and you talk to all of those people and you say, open your checkbook. If you can't do that, get out on the pavement, knock on doors, do the pamphlets, do whatever you can to actually make an election competitive, because that the opposition is already doing that, and they do that very well. But if we match dollar for dollar and person per person, we have a shot at winning this state. And so what do you all think about that?
So what's the question exactly?
The question is, how are you going to support it, and then what are you going to do for it?
So how am I going to support it? First, stepping back, you mentioned something. In the primary, if grassroots worked, Stephanie Phillips would be the elected person. Stephanie ran, I thought, a pretty good grassroots campaign. She ran by far the best. What happens in reality, you need mail, you need a little bit of TV, and you need some money. You don't need all the money. You just need a good message, mail, and TV, because I've won elections being outspent in California by doing good mail and TV. Plus, my design, build, construction before 9/11 used to print mail and TV, and we got people elected. I got the county recorder elected, some other folks without endorsements. So in the primary, it wasn't just grassroots, but the grassroots helps, and that's what will help in the general election getting out. So what can we do is, of course, support Sam Brown, but he also has to reach out and talk to us and help us and come to more events. He needs now to get back into the grassroots and to talk to the county. So that's my advice to Sam. Start talking to Republicans and talk to those independents, and then work with the Democrats, because you're going to need to do that to win.
Okay, Tony, same question?
Well, as I mentioned, I already told Sam that I have his back. So, I will be, one thing he asked me to do is to be a surrogate. So I imagine when he's in different places, that when he's somewhere where he can't speak, I'll speak for him, because it is the Republican platform that is going to win it for us. But the other thing I'll echo is that in last election, 175,000 registered Republicans did not vote. So all of us need to get our friends to vote. So supporting him and getting our friends to vote.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to wrap it up here today. I thank you, everybody, for showing up, and we appreciate all of your help.
Excuse me, Ricky, can I mention that Conversations from the Capitol is open for all Republican candidates running in this election to come on.
Okay, America Matters, just downstairs, 93.7.
Yeah, so I have my cards here. You can give us a call at the station or call me personally, and we'll set up a quarter hour for you. It won't cost you anything.
So you're supposed to talk about it.
Oh, also, there was a discussion about the congressional seat or the House of Representatives. And there was Mark Amadei, who's the incumbent, and Fred Simon Jr., who was challenging him. Fred Simon started out as being a candidate for the U.S. Senate, but I think he saw easier game in running for the House of Representatives. And by the way, folks, the congressional party belongs to both Republicans and, I'm sorry, representatives and senators. And it still bugs me when I hear somebody talk about congressional people as congressmen and so forth, because a senator is a congressman as well.
Yeah.
So we should start using correct terminology.
Nobody walk out of this room that lives in Senate District 15 without a Mike Ginsburg sign.
Hold on.
Thank you, Rick.
One last thing, and I appreciate everybody went a little longer and we had comments, but one other thing. Mark down on your calendar, July 26th will be the next Redmove meeting. July 26th. And we have a national speaker and author, Lauren Spivak. Lauren Spivak.
And finally, Ray, you can also go to the website, redmove.org. You'll see the live stream, and I might even edit this darn thing for another view, which will be better.
Thank you for coming.
That thing, that camera is a beast, because that's, you see the studio ones, that does everything in the studio. That's $10,000. It's cool. Paid for by our post 9/11 GI. Cool. Can I ask you a question? Sure.
Turn down.
Thank you.
Turn down. Jane didn't get you.
Not giving politics a Democrat going I'm 78 years old. But
Now
what
turn
I've
down
learned
pretty
about
good.
politics is sometimes
Well, she did a good job on the show today.
I was a city council vice mayor, but see, it's
Right.
200,000 people.
yeah, because you came from California.
Yeah.
Right.
You knew
She did a good job.
I also won a primary run for Congress. Who was to the targeted race.
what. So my question is, you guys could be in other offices. Have you thought about
How about Sam Brown? Did you think about a lower office?
Okay.
I know who you are. How about Sam Brown?
And
I know
Sam-
about
and
Sam
Sam-
Brown. I'll tell you why, because they're gonna know what I know. You know what I know. I was there. And he didn't realize I was here.
You pointed, you're changing the subject, but no. My subject is you two guys need to you guys can see the problem with your thing. I gotta sit in conversation and see if I can understand which is what you're saying is this is what it should be. I don't look at offices as I look at skill sets. So while Dean and all of those guys are running what politicians are running and being in politics, I'm running a $23 billion program commanding an elite squad. I am working on Air Force strategy. I am working on status of forces agreement. And in the Pentagon, I work on budget and language that goes into the operations. So the reason I ran for Senate is not because of one office is higher or lower than another. It's because my skill set. Everybody agreed that, yes, and everybody agreed that I was. You said Sam Brown's best candidate? Wait. Everybody agreed that I was best qualified. So since I was the best qualified, that's why I ran. Okay. So that's why I ran. Okay. Between. So my point is that I'm not looking for political office. Okay. I'm looking at where my skill set's going. Let me answer. So
I could not decide between the two of you who was the better, okay? But I chose to vote, for Sam. I voted for Sam Brown, not because he was the best guy. I was worried, and I don't, I never been because I said to myself, you two guys are much better. But
Yeah, I ran
you
for
may
six.
say I'm full of shit.
So unfortunately,
No,
I
but listen,
lost out on
no,
getting
but
to the general by about
about
100 votes or 1%.
one thing I've learned about politics,
So that's like, for the most part, South Reno, like South Meadowwood Mall. So it tends to be mostly on the east side of 580.
You were right. You were right with what you said. Why isn't he here today? Why wasn't he here today? Okay, but why isn't he touching base? You guys touch base. He probably should have.
Oh no, I didn't get that. That's fine, East was a big help, so I got to be on the American Matters radio on one of the shows. She invited me to come along.
The reality is that prevents you of the shows. It prevents you.
Yeah.
So
And this is one of the things where, part of it was I got into the race late because I didn't know I was running. The reason why I got into the race was because the one Republican who was running wasn't going to campaign for anything. And so just, the way I look at it is I just want Jesus.
it doesn't.
That's why I'm saying we need to do better at organizing and picking our candidates because he's going to have a real uphill battle trying to beat Randy now.
Well, he spent $1 million. Let me throw something else.
The state party started bringing your.
We're all talking about Republicans should get together. Why did he's never voted. He's never voted.
No, I have to throw up.
Can I throw up? I mean, I can see why that would be frustrating.
No, my husband lost it.
Other people have never held office before. But she had the weight of the full, competence of the Democrats running, and she got 50% and with 3 other Democrats in the race. So it makes a difference.
Super mobile.
That's all I'm saying. Your point is well taken. You two guys have changed. My sense is that experience and who you are and what you've done shows you have
the candidates.
So, and just my sense.
I don't know.
Is somehow you have
to be able to address that issue if anybody has the application change it, but I hope so because we're going to struggle.
Well, yeah, because he had pecan. I was very confused about it.
Here's the thing is, even if those people don't want to do that, they still end up running.
But the reality is
going to have a tremendous
I
advantage.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I do not. No, sir, I do not.
Yeah, Yeah.
And
We also try to raise money so we can donate.
I mean, it's more.
Right. And the people who
I
have
hear,
been here
I hear what
for
you're saying.
a long time, it's been the same thing. They used to do it. Now nothing. Essentially, is what they.
I'm 68, you're 68. I'm 70. That's good. I'm 60. You look, I can do it. I love it. I'm 60. I'm but, yeah, but I never. 69 in November. See, I'm
No, I agree 100%. It's unfortunate, but this is. I mean, what I've seen in a relatively short amount of time, you know,
the
my
choice we have, I
lifetime
pray,
is us
I think that's the other thing.
constantly take our lives.
And
So
my
this
prayer
time,
for our country
my girls
is to get in.
is
He may
to
not,
get
I do not like the fact that
meeting,
it's like
and I
this
told
guy or this guy.
I didn't ask the opportunity until I could be there the whole time to actually do the thing.
He's a much better guy, but that hurt me a little bit. Yeah, you beat me. I beat him. How did I do that? You beat me. You got Joe Michael. That's how you beat me. Here's my other. Here's my advice.
And I didn't want to essentially sign up for something and then not do the thing I signed up for. But I will be asking to be nominated for several.
We're on two different paths.
Probably
And I
next
think
year.
we each made a decision. I heard how you both decided that, and I understood it and accepted it.
And then I can be there. So, I got one more year.
All right, you know what, I gotta let you guys go.
I haven't seen enough to have any informed opinions on how it operates. Is what they,
Well, that's a nice way to put it. You already have experience.
I've had experience with it not doing things that I think it should do, as far as like how the screws are tweaked behind the scenes and stuff like that. And I have no knowledge of, you know what I mean?
That's okay. It's not taking good spot. No, no, here.
I will be. It's just a question of which year.
So why are you?
Mr. Furtick, how are you?
How's their wife eating? Working all day today, so he's got like 30 patients on her schedule. So
When I got back in,
Let me go help work with.
assembly, I went for assembly.
Here?
No, it's
California.
all these counties up here. Monterey, I mean, Monterey, Calaveras, 5 counties, and with a fraction of the money.
when did you get a haircut?
It's hard. I moved back up. Then I got asked to do. I'm saying, I want to go and see.
You'd have done better if you'd have gotten a decent haircut. That shaggy look just doesn't inspire people.
What you just said is exactly right. I knew Ray, because I worked at, this is a regular, but.
No, it's it, but not knowing that I did. That editing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that once I learned who you were, you don't realize I come up to you and say, wow, you are impressive. Yeah, he is too.
He's Air Force, so I'm down.
You know,
I think it's going to be
You know, hang out outdoors.
You may not figure out what happened in Afghanistan. Be cautious. Don't
we
go
don't,
past
we don't,
that.
we don't.
I'm not helping.
Right
And
now,
that
we don't.
commercial he did, that commercial, I mean, I'm not relaxed.
I do not want mass.
You know what the most important issue I think was, is, and I've learned a lot about, that before, is the banking system.
Oh, let me get one. Jennifer.
No, yeah, I
The banking system, the way it works.
Oh,
That's the first thing we can take our comfort down. I think I figured that out.
well, I think that things kind of went in motion.
Bill.
So
Bill.
I declare October 8th. So that's 6 months before. So I was-
Karen? Karen?
Yeah.
Including the signs downstairs, would you take those?
Well, it's funny because usually I would see.
Did you call me to pick up the signs or?
Well, Karen, you're not gonna be here.
Oh, yeah, I won't be here, that's right. Yeah.
That's the same guy.
Oh. Yeah, I had planned on it and you got thrown.
Not too suspicious.
Do you want me to take these signs?
Yeah,
Okay,
and there's two downstairs,
okay. Are they down by the,
one on the rail and one as you come in.
but the railing wasn't working. They still had it closed up.
No, the walk-up rail.
Oh, okay.
And I gotta get the others.
Yeah.
So contact with my name like that.
So, I'm gonna head out and
By the way, I can show you my phone where I text them. Yeah. 35.
Only once. But like I said, when it started, when it started, he called me today. I see this. Yeah, it's just, they would always send.
I hate to break it up, but I have to go to that. But Karen wants to spend, I can get 10 minutes if we go.
So I'm just saying, you're a race. Contact text, name like me.
Wait until he comes to me.
It's easy for us to say that.
It didn't, but he has some in mind.
The second thing, you're an attorney, maybe. I think you were Republican.
No, I know. Again, I think it's crazy today.
You need to, you bail.
But yeah, I have to change with my registration. Yeah, and so I changed it. Told me the direction.
Yeah, let's do that.
And so the second thing I was on the website to change.
I think you're really a good candidate to make a win in the future.
I